everyone. Christina Whiteley here, realtor with Fabulous Homes Colorado, powered by Keller Williams Freedom. And this is Fabulous Neighbors of Colorado, where we feature local businesses and entrepreneurs. And today I'm so lucky, I'm still sitting with Vicki Houston. Hi again.
Hi there.
Hey, she has two businesses. So she is also, in addition to her elderberry syrup business, she's also a distributor with Advanced TRS. I love the blue. Oh, I can see it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So what is it? What is TRS?
It is an odorless, tasteless, clear spray, oral spray of nano zeolites. So essentially, imagine on the nano cellular level, there is an aluminum cage that would travel throughout your cells, capturing any heavy metals, toxins, or pathogens, any microorganisms inside of the aluminum cage, and then it would move throughout your cells and go through your kidneys and be eliminated through urine within 7 hours of spraying it into your mouth.
Wow. Okay. And how do I know how much I need to dose it out, or?
Right. Mom, I turned off my show.
Oops.
Can you be quiet, please?
I have 10.
On the bottle, it'll say 5 sprays a day. So that's what the manufacturer recommends. However, I recommend anyone that I advise taking it, start extremely small. If you need to dilute it in a different container, you can do that. However, when you first receive it, it'll come out in tiny little squirts as the bottle actuates to its full spray capacity. So just take that is what I would recommend starting with.
Okay.
Just take that itty bitty amount that sprays out. However tiny it is, that's your dose for the day. As the days go on, it'll come to full spray, and then you just want to do the 1 spray a day. I kept a detox journal, and so I wrote in here daily how I felt, what my dose was, any symptoms I had, any herxing or detoxing reaction I may have felt, or any benefits that I saw. So I wanted to keep track of how that looked for me. And essentially, it was around week 5 or 6 when I started to notice parasite removal, like intestinal parasite removal. So it also has a capacity. It can remove chemo, radiation. It can remove heavy metals built up, such as like cadmium from when you're smoking tobacco. There's a high cadmium buildup in the cells. And so typically that's something that we can't remove ourselves. So this is something that can remove that. It can also remove viruses, bacteria, fungus, which is also known as yeast. So those who struggle with recurrent yeast infections, taking this, there's a lot of diseases or ailments that can be essentially eliminated when the toxins are eliminated. So taking something like TRS can remove those pathogens and microorganisms to allow all the cells, such as the mitochondria, to start creating the ATP cell energy and reminding all the other cells what they're supposed to be doing once all the pathogens are removed. So that's the benefit of TRS.
What is a toxin?
It could be something as simple as a virus. It could be something as toxic as black mold. It could be someone who had a lump removed and their doctor told them to take chemo and radiation. And so those are also built up in the body and typically do not get detoxed very well. And so it could be a bacteria that you come into contact with. It could be any kind of microorganism or pathogen that shouldn't be in your body that will cause havoc within your immune system, causing you to leave homeostasis and become ill. And so essentially what this doesn't cure anything per se, but what it does is remove the obstacle that the immune system is encountering to solve the problem, so that your immune system can jump into gear and do what it was meant to do and function effectively and efficiently in the way that it was meant to, so that you don't have to worry about being ill.
Okay. How have you noticed that you feel a little differently taking it, or what are other people telling you that are taking it, that how they're feeling different and better about?
Some of the benefits that I noticed, I was at a point in which I could describe a word, but I couldn't tell you what the name of the word was. So I began to have more word recall. I was able to find those words more readily.
Wow.
I have 8 mental health disorders. And so a lot of my symptoms that I deal with anxiety and just a lot of the symptoms that I struggle with on a daily basis seem to be lifted, and many of them were almost as if it was a non-issue, and that was not adding any medications. That was literally just detoxing my body. I saw a white fungus on one of my toenails. I didn't realize it was a fungus because it was clear, or it didn't look yellow. But what I had noticed as I was cutting my nails is that the nail began to get thinner and more easily cut. And I realized as I researched that it was actually a white fungus that I had on my nail, and I hadn't even been aware of it until I started to take this. And then as I was cutting my nails, I noticed it was returning back to a normal thickness and easier to cut. And I was like, okay. And then I started to notice the intestinal parasite removal, just noticing my BMs. Then there was a different set of layers of detox. Some of the feedback I had gotten from my chiropractor's office, she had 6 families who were taking it, and we were the only family practice that did not get sick. But we're also the only family who took the small doses. They all started at the 5 sprays, which is what's recommended on the bottle. But all of them went into detox or Herxing reactions and got sick. And what can happen in that stage is it's hard for the person to continue when they're feeling like they're getting worse. Many times people want to stop. And so
I think I have diarrhea.
It's okay. It's okay.
So where were we? Sorry.
No, that's okay. You were one of the few families that didn't get sick.
Yeah, we were one of the few that didn't get sick, but we were, like I said, the only ones who were not taking the full dose. We started at a really small dose. I'm very sensitive to things, so that was why I wanted to be sure to start. I'll give you some TRS in a little bit.
He likes it.
Yeah. I wanted to be sure to start on a safe level. One, because I have a 4-year-old and a 15-pound dog. She's a really small dog, so I wanted to be sure that we started small. But I also, because of knowing how sensitive I am to things and how I tend to react, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get excessively sick myself. And most of the results I saw were positive results because of how slow, but I kept on, and I did get to the point where I took 5 sprays a day. That was 2 months in, I think. It took me quite some time to get to that. I would do a spray a day for a week. Then I did 2 sprays a day for 2 weeks. So, I kept slowly increasing, but it was definitely over some time. But the benefits in this day and age, when we don't know with what we're actually dealing with, something like this is beneficial in my opinion, because it covers such a wide array of pathogens that it can remove, so that if it is radiation such as 5G, if it is a virus, if it is a bacteria, if it is a fungus that is airborne and floating around, whatever it is, even if it's a parasite, that's one of the questions I've been wondering is this really a virus or is this a parasite? Whatever it actually is, it seems to me that this will cover it. And when we did get sick in December, January timeframe, we did have a severe upper respiratory infection. Mine, of course, was worse than my son's because my immune system is worse initially. So I went down hard, and I think about 12 to 14 days in, I'm sure I had bronchitis, but I was wondering if I already had pneumonia, and I never went to the doctor. But the elderberry syrup I was taking, the silver water, olive leaf tincture, a whole host of natural remedies I was taking, nothing worked. So I quit taking them. And I only had, at this point, I don't know if you can see, there's only a tiny bit left in this bottle, but I only had a tiny bit left, and I added some water, took a dose, and even though it was a diluted version, I began to feel relief from the body aches and pains that I was having. I started to get relief within a few hours. I want to say within 4 to 5 hours of taking it. And then it took another week or so to 10 days to get better. But within a few hours of taking it, I started to feel that relief. So
yeah. Awesome. And you mentioned detox several times. Why is detox important?
Well, this any detox is important because what it will do is remove the hindrance that the immune system is having at solving the problem itself. So typically our immune system should jump into gear, be it a scratch on our finger or be it an invasion of some type of pathogen or microorganism. Our body can and does fight it off. It actually fights off a lot of cancer cells on the daily. We have a lot of those cells that begin to mutate, but our immune system, T cells, white blood cells, macrophage cells will come in and take care of that before it becomes an issue. So on the daily, we are constantly, our immune system is working to take care of that. What the problem is if there is a plethora or an overabundance of these pathogens or toxins, so much so that the body's own responses, the immune system cannot function properly, then that's what we call like immunocompromised or autoimmune issues. And that's when the individual will have a problem fighting off any pathogen sent to them. So that's why detox is so important, so that if that person is presented with black mold, for example, which is highly toxic and deadly, and their system can't fight it off, that mold could actually start growing in the lungs. And on scans, it could look like pneumonia, but technically what's happening is there is a parasitic infection of the mold eating away at the lungs. And so unless we do a biopsy of the lungs and identify that, and treat it accordingly, we won't actually know. We could say they're dying of pneumonia because of a scan, but it could be a parasitic infection that's taking hold of the lungs. So each person has to be treated and diagnosed appropriately. But if we have something that's non-invasive, that's easy to use, that doesn't taste like anything, that everyone in the family can take, it's safe for people who are pregnant or breastfeeding, women who are pregnant or breastfeeding, but it's safe for everyone of all the lifespan, from infant through adulthood. It's safe for our pets as well. And it covers a whole host of pathogens that will allow your body to heal naturally. And I think that's a benefit for everyone at this point.
Yeah.
Right
absolutely.
there, right there.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to educate us. We'll definitely have all of your information in the description below so that people can reach out to you and place their orders as well. Yeah, and if you'd like to be featured, go ahead and make a comment below and I will reach out to you as well. Remember who to call for all of your fabulous real estate and TRS needs. Make it a fabulous day. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you. Bye-bye.